So it's no longer a defensive Pakistan policy. From the ramparts of the Red Fort, Prime Minister Narendra Modi hit out at Pakistan. He referred to Balochistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Has he changed the rules of the game? Has he changed the rules of engagement? With me is Ambassador G. Parthasarathi. Ambassador, welcome on India Today. India's former High Commissioner to Pakistan. Also with me is Colonel Shafqat Saeed. He joins us from Pakistan. And Naila Qadri is a famous Baloch activist and leader. She joins us on the broadcast. But Ambassador, to you first. Has the Prime Minister changed the rules of engagement with Pakistan?
I think let's be very, very clear. There has been no change in policy, objectives. We seek a good neighborly, good relationship with Pakistan, as we seek with all neighbors. But we have found by practice, especially given the use of terrorism as an instrument of state policy by Pakistan, that achieving those aims of a good relationship may require other means than we are using now.
So what does that mean? How does that translate into action on ground? What does engagement on Balochistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, reference to these places, mean?
With regard to Gilgit and Baltistan and what you call as Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, it is quite clear. There is a 1994 Parliament resolution which very clearly states that the whole of the state of Jammu and Kashmir, including territories under Pakistan's occupation, are an integral part of India. So we are only fulfilling, Prime Minister is only fulfilling the requirements of that Parliament resolution.
Okay. Balochistan?
In the case of Balochistan, very, very clearly, what we are saying is that we will provide moral, political and diplomatic support to the oppressed people of Balochistan. After all, according to the Pakistan Supreme Court, there are 15,000 persons who have been missing, taken into custody. This is widely documented by Amnesty International. So in the case of Balochistan, we also need to remember that Balochistan's accession itself was fraudulent. On 4th August 1947, Mr. Jinnah issued a statement saying that he recognizes the Khanate of Kalat, which is Balochistan.
And ever since there have been atrocities on the people.
As an independent entity.
Yes.
And that was repeated in an agreement signed the same evening.
Yes.
Between the Dominion of Pakistan and the Khan of Kalat, recognizing it as a separate
independent... But Pakistan's atrocities in Balochistan, they've been on since 1947.
No, let me just add.
Yes.
There have been 4 conflicts. In fact, the second conflict was carried out by General Tikka Khan.
Yes, the butcher of Balochistan.
And he was described as the butcher of Balochistan after butchering the Bangladeshis.
Yes. Naila Qadri Baloch, what does Prime Minister Narendra Modi's statement from the ramparts of the Red Fort mean for the Baloch people?
Narendra Modi ji has become a hero for Baloch people today, and he's a hero for the oppressed nations all around the world, because when you spoke about one nation's freedom and independence, you want to protect one nation's human rights, protect us from genocide of Pakistani army. It means he's a hero for the oppressed nations of the world, especially Kashmiris oppressed by Pakistan, and Baltistanis, and Sindhis, and Pakhtuns, all.
Okay.
So we welcome him, and we are with him, and we expect from the people of India that please don't go for your past passive policies.
Okay, you want a more aggressive policy.
Yes. These were your passive policies.
Okay, and you want a change. You want a change in rules of engagement, because Colonel Shafqat Saeed, I want to talk about that aspect, Colonel, of the moment Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke of engagement on the issue of Balochistan or about Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, the same moment Pakistan talked about engaging with India on Kashmir. Is Pakistan on the back foot, Colonel?
No, Pakistan is engaging on Kashmir since long, and what Mr. Modi is saying is not at all alarming for Pakistan. Actually, he cannot afford doing anything what he is claiming from Red Fort or wherever. Actually, he is trying to bypass, hoodwink his sinking. He's trying to pull back his sinking popularity for the reason that he is facing elections in a few states and he wants to recover his sinking popularity.
You know, is that your wishful thinking? No, Colonel. I don't want you to analyze what's happening in India. I want you to tell me what's happening in Pakistan. You know, is this Pakistan living in a fool's paradise? Because this is exactly what was said before 1971.
Let me tell the Colonel that what he has announced enjoys the support of the entire Indian Parliament. It is not a domestic political issue.
He's confronting, confronting Pakistan.
Colonel, I did not interrupt you.
Hold on. No, you are interfering me. Just hold on.
All right, go ahead.
Now, please listen to me. He is trying to calm down or take the air out of his political opponents by singing this rant of anti-Pakistan, engaging Baloch and all that. It is just to deflate his opposition, and the opposition has to perforce support him, because otherwise they would become pseudo-liberals and anti-India and pro-Pakistan and ISI paid, whatever you call
them on social media. Colonel, your analysis is rather... Colonel,
no, it's not wrong. It is the fact. You cannot cover it on your television.
Colonel, I have given you ample time. Colonel, okay, Colonel, you cannot... Colonel, we had a pact. Colonel, we had a pact. Colonel, you and I had a pact. You've had your 30 seconds. Colonel, now let the ambassador respond. Colonel, you know, you did not respect discipline. It cost you 71. Don't let that thing be repeated in Balochistan. What is your response to what Colonel Shafqat Saeed says?
Let me say one thing, that the borders that Pakistan has with Afghanistan and even its borders on Balochistan are not recognized by Afghanistan. You know, the Durand line. And their most serious problem, whereas the Baloch have reached an agreement with Afghanistan that there will be no change in the borders between Balochistan. Please, don't interrupt. Baloch have reached an agreement with Afghanistan that there will be no change in the borders. What I am saying is, we don't go into these exercises like Pakistan of doing something and, you know,
the brinkmanship
taking later. Yeah. This has been carefully thought through. You have noticed what the Baloch freedom fighters are saying.
Yes.
And like Pakistan says, free diplomatic, moral and political support, we will also provide moral, political and diplomatic support to the people of Balochistan.
Okay.
So listen, Pakistan is isolated. Afghanistan is at war with it and is claiming its territory. It is not recognizing the Durand line.
Yes.
Now, whether we recognize the Durand line is a separate issue. We'll look at it later. The other point is, even with Iran, the Iranians have complained that their soldiers are getting killed on the border. So as far as India is concerned, we don't have any one of these problems. Even there's no problem on our border with China.
Absolutely. So Pakistan clearly stands isolated. Naila Qadri Baloch, what do the Baloch people want from India in terms of this moral and diplomatic support? आप चाहते क्या हैं भारत से, भारत के प्रधानमंत्री से?
सबसे पहले we want to clear that whatever India is supporting, Balochistan will support people of India. It's a mutual support, because it will open many doors of progress and for prosperity for Indian people. So we expect from Indian government and the brave and elegant Indian leader Modi ji that kindly raise the issue of Baloch independence, issue of stopping Baloch genocide in UN. So there's a session coming in September, and we expect that Sushma ji or Modi ji, whoever will go and present India, will speak on the issue of genocide of Baloch people.
Genocide. Yes, genocide that's being carried out by Pakistan Army in Balochistan, and Colonel Shafqat Saeed, this will have Pakistan very concerned, because Afghanistan is against Pakistan, India is against Afghanistan, Iran is against Afghanistan, Bangladesh is against Afghanistan.
Yes, Bangladesh is against Pakistan. Because Bangladesh is being ruled by Hasina Wajid, pro-India. Afghanistan has a pro-Indian government there. And
why
it is all
everyone
that you can sing sweet songs to yourself to keep yourself happy. And the actual fact on ground is The actual fact on ground is that nobody gets burned on roadsides in Pakistan. There is no flogging of people on the road. There are no pallets being used against the people. And there is no congregation which is shouting anti-Pakistan slogans in Pakistan like in Amritsar people shout Pakistan Zindabad.
I am not sure if you are right.
See
No.
shouting 10,000 people shout, 1 million people, you have to impose curfew in whole of Kashmir.
We've listened to you.
You have to impose curfew in whole of the Kashmir.
Don't interrupt me, please. I didn't interrupt you. The fact of the matter is that, as our Baloch friend said, they're having problems with their Pashtuns. 80,000 soldiers are fighting in the tribal areas. Look, again you are interrupting. Again you are interrupting. That's not good manners, Colonel. Not what I expect from an army officer. Now, the fact of the matter is, 80,000 soldiers are fighting.
You can imagine.
8 million Pashtuns are refugees in their own homes.
Yes.
And the army is fighting with the civilian government that you are not doing enough. Yes. It is the army which has landed them in the mess on the border with Afghanistan.
Yes.
So, we are not saying anything now. But what we do in the future is a different matter.
That's a very, very loaded statement, Ambassador. But Naila Qadri, go on. You were saying something, ma'am. You were talking about the atrocities of the Pakistan army in Balochistan and also in Pashtun areas.
Like 2-3 days before, 100 lawyers, their civil death squad that is called Lashkar-e-Ahrar.
Yes.
They have killed 100 lawyers, Baloch and Pashtun lawyers. Our brains, our diamonds, and our future was depending upon them. They killed them ruthlessly.
Yes.
So in Dera Bukti, for last 1 week, there is continuous bombing from jets, and they are killing innocent children and women in Dera Bukti. They are killing people in Avaran, in Makran. It's in Noshki, and this 14th August,
yes.
They were celebrating, they were trying to push people to celebrate with the, it was Black Day in Balochistan, and what they did, they tried to celebrate 14th August in Balochistan. There were more than 30 incidents of attacks of Baloch freedom fighters on them.
Imagine Colonel Shafqat Saeed, you are bombing your own people. You're using heavy artillery against your people, and you're using aircraft against your people.
Brahmdag, look, I spoke to Brahmdag Bukti, the grandson of Nawab Akbar Bukti. He was killed in an airstrike.
Yes.
A Baloch leader, a tribal leader, killed by the Pakistan Air Force, not the army,
correct,
in an airstrike. So that is the they have used Air Force, as the Prime Minister said, not only in Balochistan, but also in the tribal areas to kill Pashtun tribals.
And Khyber Pakhtunkhwa they've been using. Respond to this, Colonel Shafqat Saeed. Respond to this. You are laughing, but you are one country that bombs its own people.
Yes, because we don't want to blind them, and we just want to single out those people who are responsible for the mess. And
I am sorry, you're an army officer. You use air attacks and artillery to single out people.
Your freedom fighters, we do engage them by all means that is possible. And you know, this all is being done out of haste and helplessness, because your big investment has gone down the drain. Your complete infrastructure of terrorism in KPK and Balochistan has been dismantled. Kulbhushan Singh Yadav is a point in the case, and that failure has made your leaders absolutely bazak. And that is the reason that
you're actually like a stuck gramophone record, Colonel. You're actually like a stuck gramophone record. You've made one point repeatedly. But Ambassador Partha Sarthi has a question for you. Go on, Ambassador.
If one Kulbhushan Yadav, I'm not disputing it or agreeing.
400 more people with him.
Please. If one Kulbhushan Yadav can create problems for 82,000 Pakistani soldiers, that is what the Corps headquarters has said in Pakistan about their deployment in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. 82,000.
Very well said.
Drive out 8 million refugees.
Yes.
Very well said,
no, this is Pakistan official figures, not my figures.
Yes, absolutely.
And out of which 150,000 are returned. They used area weapons, artillery.
Yes, and heavy artillery.
Heavy artillery. They have used Air Force. We have never used artillery or Air Force against our own
You
people.
just use pellet guns.
They did it in Bangladesh and
You are
paid a
more
price.
clever.
Yes.
They did it in Bangladesh and paid a price.
They use
All I can
pellet
say is
gun.
be careful.
They should be careful.
They use
Naila
pellet
Qadri,
guns
according to you, what
blind-
impact, Naila Qadri, what impact will Prime Minister's support, will India's support have on the Baloch people and on Pakistani state in your appreciation?
If you believe me, Pakistani state is the most coward people in the world. We have faced them and we have made them defeated many, many times. And you know they will fall in your steps, in the footsteps of India, and they will be ready for any kind of negotiations. Just because they will try to deal with you,
Okay.
deal with Indian government, that please stop speaking about politics.
Okay. In fact, the moment Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke of Balochistan and Pakistan army atrocities in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir and northern areas, Pakistan's foreign secretary extended that hand of friendship to talk about Kashmir. But India's once again made it very clear, talks can only happen in a terror-free environment. Ambassador Partha Sarthi, Colonel Shafkat Saeed and Naila Qadri, for the moment, many thanks for joining me. This is one story we'll be tracking very, very closely. Pakistan's atrocities in Balochistan, Pakistan's atrocities in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, and in Gilgit and Baltistan, what Pakistan calls northern areas.